Hello, good morning everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy and today I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the 4th of June. Now, if anybody has just jumped on my channel, I actually do prediction readings pretty much daily, and I just let my guides channel through to you and sort of tap into the current energies of what's currently going on around the globe. So stay watching in case there's a message that you might need to receive today, and we'll just get started. Now, things are getting frightening and there's like this real upset in the world. And it's upset. They're showing me the visual of when people are getting upset, which we know they are. I talk about it all the time, the people waking up. They put their hands on their hips and they're very cross. So it's showing me like this person getting really cranky and pointing their finger and they're being really unruly. And this is the kind of energy that I'm getting. And I'm getting the word like enslavement. So it's like, gosh, this could actually be coming from the elites and the parliamentary leaders. They're getting into their sort of Hufflepuff kind of position where they're like, why aren't these people complying? Why aren't they complying? Now, this is like the decoding of everything that's kind of going on. They're trying to decode and work out why people aren't complying. I mean, in their eyes, it's just a simple fix. They're giving us, this is in the elites and the parliamentary leaders and things, in their mind, they're giving us fantastic tools to move our lives forward, and they're going to be saving the planet, and they're going to be implementing all these things that are all to our advantage. And now people are standing up and not wanting to comply. So I'm getting these elites have got their hands on their hips now, trying to make themselves bigger. If you think of, they're saying the Hufflepuff, but they're kind of saying also it's like the pufferfish, which you could have a laugh at really, because pufferfish, when they're in danger or whatever, they kind of blow themselves up and go, they puff right out. I think that's on that Finding Nemo or something, isn't it? The pufferfish just blows up to protect itself. I'm not quite sure what movie that's from, but this is kind of what I'm getting. They're kind of taking this bigger stance now. So these elite people and the people who are trying to implement their agendas and roll everything out, they can't understand why people aren't just complying and going along with this, because in their mind they feel like they've sold this very pretty picture. And it's like I talked about the other day. I talked about the billboards and the posters and all the things that are going to be just so wonderful for us, the little people, and they can't understand why people aren't just going along with this so easily. Like, in their mind it was just an easy rollout of their plans. But I keep saying these hurdles keep being put in front of them because we're all pushing them back over in front of government. So they're frustrated now. So they're having to kind of put themselves into more power. Like, well, we know they're power hungry, but this is kind of getting even beyond that now. They're having to do more thinking and more, I guess they have to tap into the awareness of how normal people think, because they don't think like us. I mean, we know that clearly. But they have to now kind of put themselves in our shoes and rethink how they can kind of sell this to us, again, using manipulation. And this is kind of what I'm getting. They're like the pufferfish. They've got into that, making themselves bigger and more powerful and more strong, and trying to strengthen the things they're trying to push forward. They can't understand why. It's crazy to even think about, isn't it? But they can't understand why we're not complying. I look, to be honest, I think they've given up on all of us who are watching my channel and like awake people. I think they've pretty much given up on us because they know that they can't fool us, that we can't be fooled. So they're sort of focusing now on this middle bracket, and obviously the ones that are still asleep, because there's a hell of a lot of them. I see a lot of people walking around in masks here. I'm sure you guys are as well. And you just shake your head, don't you? But this is what I'm getting. They have to get these people to comply again. So this is what they're currently going through at the moment, this trying to get their power and become bigger and stronger and uniting. And, you know, I talked about yesterday that pandemic treaty kind of got kiboshed by a few countries, and it's caused them to have to kind of go and reassess. Well, they're going to try and come up with a different kind of plan that's going to make them look bigger and more powerful and stronger. You know, that's an example, just using that as an example, the treaty. They hate it when people don't just comply, as we know, because it's all about dollars and power. So this is where they're currently at. They're kind of like this puffer fish that had to blow itself up so it looks bigger. But again, as I keep saying, it's all an illusion. The illusion that they're these big, powerful people, they're actually not. And that's what the guides are showing me, that sort of body language and this kind of thing, that energy and that puffer fish. Because, you know, when the puffer fish swims off, or the shark or whatever the threat is, they come back down and they're just this little fish swimming around again. So this is what I'm getting. It's all an illusion. So when these powers that be push these things, it's the pushback that causes them to become wobbly. Like I said on the stage yesterday, they start to wobble, and that's a great thing. But they just can't in their mind understand why people aren't complying, because they really believe, and this is the elites and the people in power, they really believe that their agendas are only going to help us. So in their sick, psychotic minds, they feel like they are helping people by implementing all their wonderful, we'd call it garbage and nonsense, but they feel like they're just got the people's best needs at heart, and why would people not be listening to them, because they're all professionals and they know what they're doing, and people should be looking up to them like as their gods, and that we should all be listening. And this is honestly how psychotic these people are. That's how they actually see themselves. Gosh, you know, we all know Trudeau sees himself that way, doesn't he? He thinks he's like this huge being that people like look up to, but it's actually quite the opposite, I'm guessing. So this is what we've got. We've got these elites trying to blow themselves up and look more powerful than what they are. And that's that. They're trying to maintain that grip on things, you know. They're trying to, it's like, you know, getting back to the football. I talked about the football the other day, and getting off the line and pushing back. They're actually showing me now, government's kind of, I often say clutching at straws, but it's like when they're going to make a tackle on people or whatever, they're not tackling around the legs and making people fall to the ground. They're kind of grabbing at the jerseys in desperation now. So it's like they're grabbing at the jersey. But as you know, in a football game, if you try to tackle someone's jersey, they just slip away and take off. And it's not, it doesn't work. It's not a great way to sort of tackle, because you're not getting a grip on things, and you're kind of losing a grip, and they get away and get a try. And this is kind of the image that they're giving me at the moment around these leaders and that, who are trying to implement all this stuff, that they haven't got a good grip on all of this. And again, it gets back to just that psychotic thinking and how they think differently from normal people who are the ones struggling at the current time with finances and everything, and food shortages and all the crap we're being fed. They have no idea of what that actually feels like. So they don't understand the way people in those lower classes and middle class and lower classes rather, or lower class, middle class, it doesn't matter. We're all coming together now in the big and they don't understand how we feel and how we view life, and how it is like becoming struggle street at the moment for nearly everybody except them. So it's very hard for them to get people to comply when everything is starting to become visibly obvious that there's nothing in our favor. And this is what the waking up people are saying. Like I always talk about the Great Awakening, that these people in that middle part that are actually starting to turn a corner now and being woken up from the BS, this is what is happening. They don't want to comply anymore. I'll see what else we get today. Yeah, they're saying if we could just eliminate some of these parliamentarians and politicians, we'd be right as rain. Because at the moment they've got too much power in the masses. Like, they're all communicating, they're expanding their empire. That sort of level of governing and governments is really taking over. It's that tyranny, that dictatorship. And it's rolling out really fast. I talked about that the other day. Things are coming at us really fast now. Gosh, we knew in Australia that was going to happen after the vote, didn't we? That things were going to speed up, and holy crap, they are really speeding up now. And it's getting to the point now where they don't even hide it. They're not even worried about hiding these things, because they feel like they don't even have to make excuses for all the stuff they're doing, because they feel like they've got the perfect reasons, which is the CV virus, because now that they can just use that for everything. So that's called, and of course we know Russia, Ukraine, which is just absolute BS as well. So they're using any narrative that they can kind of pull in to just keep rolling this out. But like I said, people aren't complying, and they've had to go and do their homework, puff themselves up and try and figure out, well, why aren't people complying? Look at us, we're such a big entity of knowledge and strength, which we know isn't true, but that's how they see themselves. I'll see what else we get today. Oh, the guides are funny, aren't they? They're saying that we're up to chapter 4 of the COVID agenda storybook. I often talk about the storybook and looking back in time, and we're reading this to our grandchildren and things like this about these evil people that wanted to take over the world. But we're up to chapter 4. Now, they're saying that chapter 4 actually creates a smoother path. Now, if you're watching my video, the guys are saying that we've changed the channel. So we're on a different channel, which comes back to vibration. But we've chosen a different path. So it's like turning, well, it is literally turning the TV off, which most of us have done because it's all lies. I'm definitely getting that chapter 4 is about changing the channel. So we've already done that, but now these people that are waking up have to change the channel. Like I said the other day, they're being divided. They're being separated now. The things that happen to us are now happening to other people. I talked about the monkeypox and the gay community being blamed for that. Well, now this is the kind of thing that's going on. There's these separating and divisions again happening. Not as obvious as the one that we all went through in the very beginning. I talk about that because there's now separation about anyone speaking up against the jabs and who got injured. And you know, people are still very semi-mass psychosis about the jabs. It's a very prickly issue that people still... And look, I can actually say my sister is like that. She does not want to see any truths at all. Her and I are like complete opposite ends. We decided we just wouldn't talk about it, and that's why we still get on. But she says to me that everything I post and everything I do is not true. So that's interesting, isn't it, coming from my own sister who knows that I do psychic readings. She even does my thumbnails on my readings, on my some of my videos, not all because I do so many, I can't ask her to do every single one. But she still says to me that none of this is true. So it's just so mind-boggling to me that you could even not see it. But there are still people out there who just... And I believe, even with her, that she doesn't want to see it. I think her gut and that is telling her something's not right. But she refuses to see it because in her mind, she has her freedom back. She's living her best life. She's traveling all over the place again. She's really into traveling. So in her mind, it's better to not know, and she can just get on with her life and everything's going to be hunky-dory, and that's her viewpoint. And I guess that's her reality as well. And the frustrating part for all of us is we're trying to explain and tell people what's sort of coming at them, but it is, look, I agree, it's very frustrating when people still tell you that it's not true, and you know it's true. But what can you do? That's the train, I guess, that they've chosen. But now that this is becoming not just about health, like I said, it's becoming about so many other things. That is what is waking people up. Because how are people going to keep going? They're even talking here about water rates now going up. So you can't even have a garden. How are you going to water your veggies and do, they're even making it hard to have your own sustainable living as well, because they're targeting every aspect of people's lives. They just want to make it impossible for anyone to live that sort of independent, sustained, self-sufficient life. So this is kind of very interesting, isn't it? So that, that's something that does cause us, as you guys watching my video, it causes us enormous frustration, because we see it, but they're still, I would say they see parts of it, but they are in denial because they don't want it to be true. Because they chose that train and that path, a lot of them, they don't want to feel, it's like I said the other day, they don't want to feel dumb, they don't want to feel stupid, they don't want to feel like they've been taken for a ride, because that would make them look foolish and stupid, and they'd be embarrassed, and then what have they put in their body? And it's easier to shut all that out. Now that might be the response that we're going to get from a lot of these people who are kind of waking up. I don't even doubt it, but they're still waking up. I know it's very hard to see that, and look, I understand, I get frustrated sometimes with people around me as well, but there is too much being shoved in their face now. It's like a bulldozer pushing the dirt towards them. There's this bulldozer, when they grade the roads and the dirt just piles up and piles up and piles up on the front of the bulldozer scoop. Well, that's what's happening. All this gunk and garbage is coming towards them. And look, it's coming fast, but it's also like slowly picking all this stuff up, and it is coming towards them. So they're going to have to face it at some point. I truly believe that. You can look away and you can turn away and you can deny it's real, but there comes a point where suddenly it does become real. and then what? Then they have to look at it, because it's right in front of their face, because it all gets dumped at their feet by this dozer that's bringing it all towards them. So I'm definitely getting that today, that visual of just let that happen. Like, just keep removing yourself. Keep removing yourself. Their awakening process is not for us to be involved in. I mean, it's nice to just be a kind ear and plant the seeds. But even that visual I said of the cowboy the other day, where they're getting behind us, or where the Pied Piper, or these kind of things, what it means is they're following behind us. So it's like we were that first charge. I talk about that in the fight back, and now they're going to have to do their own fight backs, and it is happening. Like I said the other day, the protests happening here in Australia, which apparently are not supposed to be happening, but they're allowing them to happen, which is very interesting, isn't it? Nurses, doctors, teachers' strikes, ambulance strikes, because they all were quite happy to mandate and they got rid of all their staff, and they were happy about that. It empowered them and they felt good about it. And now they're suffering because all the staff left, and now they're not coming back. Even if the mandates were dropped, these people have all moved on. We've all moved on. We're all getting on with our life out here in Terra Bella. We're not going back to those kind of jobs and things where we got kicked out and we, were vilified, ostracized. Gosh, and I know you guys experience it. We still go into a medical, I still can't go into an old aged home here. We go into a medical centre and we still got to sit on a chair outside in the snow, because they won't let us in, because we've got to wait to go directly to the office or whatever. This is still happening. And now these people are getting their, I would say, payback for feeling above everybody. Like I said, they got rewarded in Australia. Oh, you do the right thing, you're going to get meal vouchers, you're going to get released early. These people are going to be kept in prison for another 3 months. That's virtually what we were. We were locked down in our houses. And now they're struggling, aren't they? They've realised, oh my gosh, we're so overworked, we're understaffed, we're underpaid. Their whole life is virtually falling apart over here. And that's just a strong example that I'm going to use. I'm sure it's happening wherever you guys are as well. But this is happening. This is their awakening process, because these people aren't coming back. They've had a gutful of all the nonsense. So I don't know how these people expect they're going to solve the problems when they're understaffed, underpaid. Government made all these promises, of course, promises that they were going to get nurses in from overseas and they were going to train up all these young nurses. So you've got rid of people with 30 years experience who are highly qualified, got rid of them because of mandates, and now all these people are going to be still under pressure because they're going to have a lot of juniors around them. They're going to have people that don't know what they're doing. You know, that's a lot of pressure, and they have put that on themselves because nobody stood up with us and stood for our beliefs and respected what our beliefs were, especially if somebody had been injured by the jab. You know, who's going to go back and get another one when you've had seizures or you've had something horrific like that happen, blood clots even, common as, and this is what I'm getting. And so now that's just a strong example of these people are having to wake up because they now are in a terrible predicament where now they're struggling. They're struggling financially. They're struggling with the hours that they're being forced to work. They're doing overtime and probably not getting paid for it. This is not our experience anymore. We've found happiness in our simplicity and the basic things of life. So I'm definitely getting that today, that, you know, they're being forced by the bulldozer and the stuff that's coming towards them to see and to wake up. I know it doesn't seem that way because they're in denial, and I guess that would come back to pride a little bit too. Their pride wouldn't want to admit that the VCV never existed, or that it could possibly be the flu, or that, you know, they just would not want to admit that, because you got to remember these people have even jabbed their kids. They've done exactly as they've told. Gosh, my mum had her second B shot the other day. Never listens to me. She's just had a big ulcer thing cut out of her leg. Infection, you know, going through the roof, but what would I know? So it's that denial. They don't want to admit, you know, it's like, oh, it's so frustrating. I know, I get it if you're out there feeling like I am. It's just the most frustrating thing in the world, isn't it, to just watch this movie play out, because it's just so absurd. I'll see if there's any final messages today. I'm getting that the guides are showing like people are going to be ringing our doorbells. They're going to come and knocking. And I don't think it's in a positive way. I think it's in a controlling way. There's going to be a lot more of this enforcing of the rules, laying down the laws, making sure people are complying. And it's showing me like that, checking on everybody, checking that if they've got the CV, that they're at home and isolating and doing the right things. They're going to do like, it's almost like, I guess you could kind of call it like a real census. Like, you know, you do your census and they work out who's who and who lives where and all this sort of stuff. I feel like there's going to be like this new, maybe like this new census form, but it's going to be like about health. And they're going to want to know who's jabbed, who's unjabbed, who's double boosted. They will want to know, and they're going to try and work out like why this particular suburb or area, why they've got a higher rate of not being jabbed. What is the trust that's missing in this area that's causing them not to get the V? Why have all these people in this region complied so well? So I feel like now they're really starting to do, and this could be that, starting to understand why people aren't complying. They're starting to break it down now and work out, they're so clever, aren't they? And work out why and the causes and what's made someone think like that. Because then, as we know, just like with the politicians and when we go to the vote, they can infiltrate your mind and your Facebook feeds and your analytics and all this stuff. They can work and start to push that in that area. And the ones that have complied, they don't have to be as heavy-handed with them. So I'm definitely getting this ringing of the doorbell, which is like, they're kind of showing me like they're showing me like a vacuum salesman, like from the 60s. You know how, and like an Encyclopedia Britannica, that's in Stranger Things at the moment. If anyone watches that, she's like selling encyclopedias on there, one of the moms. But this is kind of what I'm getting. It's like they're ringing our doorbells and they're trying to do this great sell. And, you know, this could come back to that posters and all this messages that pop up on your Facebook feeds and things like this as well. But it's shown me like that vacuum cleaner salesman, you know, they'd do the demonstration in your home and then they'd try and sell you a vacuum cleaner. This was in the 60s and 70s. It was a really big thing. And even the encyclopedias and all sorts of things. Gosh, it just, the world has changed so much, hasn't it? And it's not till you watch shows that take you back that it reminds you of a lot of these things. But this is kind of what they're saying, like no one could ever trust the vacuum salesman. Like he'd want to leave it with you for a week, but then he'd always want your money or want you to buy it. Like it was never about, oh, just try this, no obligation and all this stuff. But you could never kind of trust the vacuum salesman. It's kind of like that. That's kind of what it's alluding to, is that, you know, there's always that catch in it all. So they're going to be ringing these doorbells and trying to feed us the information. But it's like this really bad sales pitch and dodgy sales sort of guy at the door trying to sell you this vacuum cleaner. That's kind of the image I'm getting. But it's around getting and of course keeping Big Pharma going. Actually, there was a, funny enough, there was an ad. Oh, no, it might have been briefly on the news, or it was an ad or something I saw. And now they're selling, it was medications, I think, for, it was either for the kidney problems that people are now having because of the CV virus, which is very interesting, isn't it? There's more things coming out. That CV virus causes a lot of ailments, doesn't it? And it was some sort of medication or blood thinning medication to help the clots. It was something like that, and it was now a tablet that you could just get off the shelf. And I thought, oh my gosh, more money for Big Pharma. I can't remember what it was. I'll look it up and let you know. But it was that ridiculous. I just thought, oh gosh, now we're just going from these to tablets to, you know, how big is that industry and how much money are they making from all of this? We always knew it was coming because we always knew it was going to break down their immune system, didn't we? But no one believes that, of course, do they, until it's actually happening. So, yeah, this is where we're going now. There's this, like, bad vacuum cleaner salesman kind of ringing our doorbell, and they're really trying to get to us, but they're trying to get to us through those messages, you know, the reset messages or the quotes or the things on our feed. They're going to really hone in now, and they're going to really target those suburbs or target those maybe age groups as well. They're really going to target the age groups. You know, they might think, oh, why aren't the 20-year-olds getting this? You know, it's so good for their future. And they're going to look at these campaigns now. It's going to be starting to be that big campaign of selling and sort of coming to your door. So coming to your house is kind of meaning getting to you even when you're in your home. We can still get to you, like the vacuum cleaner salesman. You don't have to go down the shop because we're going to sell this to you. And again, it gets back to that puffer fish. It's all an illusion. You know, like I said, when the fish goes down, it just swims off and looks like every other fish. But they try to put themselves in this position of power and looking in charge and in control. And that's what I'm getting today. But it's a dodgy salesman. It's going to be a dodgy pitch like the vacuum cleaner salesman. So look out for that. Yeah, it's just going to be a subliminal, subconscious thing that they're going to try and plant those seeds. Like I said, they're trying to plant their seeds now and get this all into people's minds. I talked the other day about that guy popped up on YouTube, that old doctor that was talking about how the CV virus now gives you blood clots because all of the funeral homes and people like that are talking out now about that they can't drain the blood because the clots are like 60% up in all the bodies and everything. They're having to cover up. So again, we've got the cover-ups. Oh, it's just getting exhausting. And now, yep, as the kids were all getting the kidney problems, now it's a symptom and a long COVID symptom of the virus. Yes, they will tell you it. Oh, it just goes around and around, doesn't it? We know the truth because we always put it out before it actually comes out. So how's that work? But no one listens to us, do they? It's very frustrating. I get it. Anyway, I'll just see if there's any final messages. I'm getting that visual of the picture Scream. So it's like, I don't know if anyone knows that picture. Most people do. It's kind of on a slant. And it's like this horrifying look. It's not a very attractive picture, actually. But it's a very well-known picture. I'm sure it's called The Scream. And what they're saying is, this is what people are going to realise. And it's showing me that image. Like, if you think of the image of The Scream, it's like a skull and it's like a very dark and depressed body that's kind of screaming. It's almost an image of like, life's got too hard and I have to release it. So, you know, that's kind of the image that they're giving me. But this is for the people waking up. Their life is going to change so dramatically, they have no idea what is coming at them. Like I said, with the bulldozer and the dirt coming towards them. As much as the bulldozer is kind of clearing a path, it's going to dump a heap of dirt and garbage onto these people that are waking up. And look, they're going to realise, I know it's very hard. It's so hard to understand that they're ever going to realise. My sister even said to me yesterday, well, we've got herd immunity now. And I just said, there is no herd immunity. I said, you all had the jab. And I said, and you all got COVID. So how's that work? And she couldn't answer, because how do you answer that? Oh, that's right, you don't get as sick and go to hospital. But I think they've realised that's not really the case. So that's why I'm getting this Scream, because it's going to put them into shock. I talk about the shell shock and, you know, all this shock that they're going to have when they wake up and realise they've been lied to for nearly 2.5 years, and it's all been BS, and now their life's just plummeting down the sewers and toilet, and they're going to have to see it, because something's got to... They've got to see it. How can you not see that your life's being destroyed right before your very eyes? People are going to be scrambling out, you know. It's that, how am I going to get out of this mess? Like, people aren't going to be able to see a way out of debt, poverty, starvation in some cases. People are already living in tents. And I can tell you now, people that have been in the bushfires here in Lismore, in the floods recently in Australia, are living in tents and caravans. Government has not come to their aid. They've not supported them. And this is the reality. And more people are going to be heading down that road because they're not going to be able to pay their mortgages. Rents have gone up here in Australia. I know it has where you guys are probably living. That young people can't even afford to go and rent a house. So anyway, it's got to cause people to go into a bit of shock eventually. So I'm guessing the guides is kind of saying today, just have that patience. Remain very stable, use your gifts, listen to what you're hearing, what you're being told, where you're being guided. You know, that's very important to always listen to your guidance, because it has a big impact on your life and how it's evolving. And just stay strong and be happy. That's the big message today, is just be happy in the space you're in and where you are at this very moment. It's very, very crucial. And someone actually, the other day, we did that song, Don't Worry, Be Happy. And someone else posted on that song by, is it Pharrell? And it's that, 'Cause I'm Happy, that happy song. Oh, it's such a great song. I do love it. And that's what the guides are kind of saying, you know, put your music on, be happy. You know, that's what life's about. We've got to embrace every moment that we're here, because we don't know how long we've got on this earth. It's a strange journey, that's for sure. So get out there today and go and be happy. Maybe listen to that song, get your energy up, get your vibration up, and go and have some fun today and get that spark back in your life. Because I can tell you, these people that are waking up, I'm getting the visual of the Scream. And it isn't pretty. It's going to get ugly. So stay safe, be well, be kind to each other. And thanks for watching today. Please comment. I love you guys. You know that I do. And I will say goodbye from Australia. Don't forget to hit the like buttons. And I will see you very soon. Bye. Bye from Australia.